Let's see. I think some of these allegations she's pleading true to and some are not true. So I guess we should go through the check. See.
You have this report from the jail.
For Matthew?
Well, they reviewed and there is no reasonable cause to believe that she has an issue. But
I've talked about it.
in some cases,
Okay, I just didn't see any issues.
17-28053 is now called Kristen Nicole Massey. That's you? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Present with Mr. West, your attorney and the state's attorney. There appears to be a motion to revoke probation filed December 6th, 2022. And what are we going to do today? In 11, the 5 grounds: failing to report, failing to immediately report your address. I don't understand that.
No,
Is
I
that
did.
change of address?
I would like to make an oral amendment on number 2. After the word her and in between the word address on the second line, insert change of.
Okay, we'll get back to that in a minute.
Yes,
Fail
sir.
to provide form of community service. Fail to submit to alcohol, drug screenings. Well, now we're getting somewhere. And then failing to pay. Well, all of those are fine. They can be maybe fixable.
The original, because I gave it clean rules.
Are you going to do all the talking, or do I get a chance to control the proceedings? What goes on in the back there? Do y'all just talk about how you're going to control the whole hearing? No, the court does. Is that all right if I do that, since that's what the law says I should do? Okay. You'll be given a chance to speak. Relax. All right. What are we going to do? Number 1, there's a change, an amendment that's been moved. Her change of address.
No objection.
Number 2 to be added. Change of inserted right before address. That is amended without objection today. Now what? Does she waive formal readings of these?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Does the defendant waive a formal reading of this motion to revoke probation? Can we proceed in summary?
Yes, Your Honor.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear, or as best you can, swear or affirm that the statements you're going to be making during this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Lower your hand. In summary, this motion to revoke probation in 17-28053 filed on December 6th, 2022 alleges that on January 27th, 2020, you were sentenced to 10 years in prison, probated for 10 years for tampering with physical evidence. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
1 states you failed to report to the Jefferson County Probation Office for the months of July, August, September, and October of 2022. Is that true or untrue?
Yes, sir.
True.
True. Okay.
2, you failed to immediately report to the probation office your change of address. Doesn't say what day that happened, but it had to be sometime after.
She told me that.
I'm sorry, I was talking once again.
Okay, say so.
This shouldn't be that confusing.
I was just trying to clarify. I apologize.
Are you through now? Is that true?
Yes.
You're gonna, is that you're through? Okay. Number 2, let's take this over again without interruption. You failed to immediately report to the probation office your change of address in violation of your probation order. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
In all fairness to you, it doesn't show a date, but it had to be, I guess, after you were placed on probation in January of 2020.
May 4th, 2022.
Ma'am?
May the 4th of 2022.
All right.
When a mail letter returned to us, stamped from the post office undelivered.
You want to put that in on the date on that allegation for clarification?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna put after her name, the said Kristen Nicole Massey, comma, on what?
May 4th, 2022.
Comma. And so that's amended twice on that one. It says that you on May 4th, 2022 failed to immediately report to the probation office your change of address in violation of your probation order. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. 3, you failed to provide verification of performing community service hours as required of you. Is that true?
That's all.
Do you know?
You plead true, then we go back.
Okay, yes, sir.
Is that true?
Yes, sir.
4, you failed to submit the alcohol or drug screenings on June 9th, July 6th, July 8th, July 14th, July 20th, July 21st, and August 1st
Yes,
of
those are true.
2022, and follow the recommended treatment plan in violation of your probation order. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
And finally, 5, you failed to pay court assessed fees as directed as of November 17th, 2022. You were in arrears $3,290. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you this. Were you able to pay any of that?
I did pay.
No. The amount that you were in arrears, were those monies that you, some of which or all of which you could have paid, but you just elected not to? Or did you
That
not
time-
have any
at
money?
that time,
You didn't have any
No,
money?
sir.
Okay, we're gonna skip that.
Sure.
We'll skip that. Are you pleading true to allegations then 1, 2, 3, and 4 of this motion to revoke probation voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently? And because those are true. Do you understand by pleading true, that is enough? Voluntary and knowing pleading true to a violation of probation is enough to grant this motion to revoke probation. Your probation can be revoked by a preponderance of the evidence or greater, and you can be then sentenced. You're on regular probation. You're looking at no less than 2 nor more than 10 years confinement in prison.
Yes,
Knowing that, you insist on pleading true today.
yes.
I find you are pleading true voluntarily. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading true. Okay. Mr. West, you may go first.
Your Honor, I want to call my client to testify to give some testimony.
Okay, go ahead.
That you just sworn in. Kristen, we talked a bit about these allegations at the jail. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about that. First one is not checking in. You stopped checking in at some point, didn't you?
I did.
Okay. Tell the judge why. You told me why, but I want you to tell the judge why you stopped checking in. What happened?
Well, this was, second time, because I was reinstated. This was
Right.
when I was reinstated. I stopped checking in because I didn't feel like I was going to meet the requirements for the program that they were asking me to participate in. I didn't have a vehicle and I was struggling to get to work and home. And it was going to be like a counselor. I had to see my probation officer, and then I had to do NA meetings, and I had to be at, on colors, which the UA wasn't a problem. It was just finding a ride, in the middle of the day or whenever to get there. And then I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it, and I didn't want to miss, what is it called? Like not show up, and then me show up to report, and then them have me put me in jail. And I just quit reporting. So I tried to get them to change it. I asked them if we could do something else. But I even talked to
Hold
her
on for just a second.
supervisor. Yes,
Hold on for just a second. Let me. Okay, here we go. This is the Manson family.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're part of, we call it the Manson family from Nederland. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Y'all were in a group of people who were kind of living in or hanging around this abandoned home. One of the members is shot and killed, and then y'all or each take turns in shooting the body. Oh, I'm sorry. I remember this like it was yesterday. Are you going to interrupt me? Everybody took a shot. It took a turn.
I didn't. Sorry, but I couldn't.
You're going to get a chance to speak. Everybody got a turn, and then it was carried up and buried, and then a game camera caught the people. Caught one, and then one led to another and to another. And so You were in that group of people where all of that happened. Now, whether you shot or not, you were involved in
Yes, sir.
discarding the body. And we refer to that as the Manson family because it was kind of like what the Manson family did. A group of people got together but you were present when the person was shot.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And everybody was given the gun to fire into the body.
I was-
Whether you agree or not, that's what the pre-sentence report said. I'm not saying you killed the person was already
I
killed.
didn't do that, though. I did not fire. I didn't touch.
Did you commit the crime that you're on probation for?
Yes, sir.
Of
I did.
trying to dispose of the 4 dead body so that it would never be found, right?
I mean.
That's
Yes,
what
sir.
this says. You should plead guilty to
yes,
it. Come
yes,
on.
sir, You're correct.
All right, I think you
Knowing
just-
that,
I'm just,
here's what I wrote. You pleaded guilty to on or about May 24th of 2017, knowing that murder had been committed. You intentionally or knowingly destroyed or concealed a human corpse with the intent to impair its identification and availability as evidence in any subsequent investigation or official proceeding related to the offense. But the point is you didn't alert people to it. They caught y'all, and they caught you on a fluke of a situation where somebody walked past the game camera who was involved and was identified, and then that led to the identification of everybody else.
I think her issue is that the allegation that she shot into the body, I think she adamant she didn't do that, but I think she did plead guilty to help hide the body and then that part, which is what she was involved in. I think it just bothers her having to the fact that shooting the body was not something she did.
Okay, pre-sentence report. Everyone there at the house. Everyone there, the boyfriend handed your boyfriend, right? That him who was the main man who shot?
wasn't it? I mean, you could call me that, I guess. So it's just, here.
Who did you call?
This is your
I only knew
version.
for,
This
like,
is your
2
version.
minutes.
You were dating a person who was bad news. They were at your house that you were working on construction wise. A couple of other guys at the house that were there were friends of her boyfriend. You went outside to put some wood on the fire, came back. Before you reached the room, they were all in. You heard a loud pop. You walked into the room. One of the guys is laying on the ground with a huge hole in his head. I mean, there were several people here. It wasn't just 2 or 3. The boyfriend is holding the gun. Let's see. With the exception, everyone there was scared to death with what had just happened, with the exception of one. The boyfriend handed the gun around, telling them to shoot the dead body at least once. However, you didn't have to. No one asked you to. Then over the next couple of days, you and others moved the body to Fred and burned it.
Yes.
I think that's substantially what had happened here. Terrible thing. Well, who gets involved in something like that? Problem here in your particular situation is you were using drugs apparently at the time. Then you said, your life has improved for the better now that you were drug free and in a healthy relationship. And So drugs, well, like as many times are part of the problem. But you know that, and that's why we put you on probation. I think you were the only one who got placed on probation out of this whole.
That's correct, Judge.
Because it was just straight from hell itself, that whole episode. That's just terrible stuff. And it reminds you of the Manson family.
Your
So
Honor,
you were given probation and given a chance. And I'm sure I probably scolded you and lectured you about, don't let me see you back here again. Drugs are a problem. So quite naturally, you have now pleaded true to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 attempts to drug screen you.
I just said quit recording. So. All the drug screens that were in that time period. I'm allowed to talk?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. That's what.
How much
that
time?
is. I didn't just refuse, I just did, I wasn't going to go.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Let's talk about the community service. That is one of the allegations, right?
Pardon me?
There's one of the allegations, community service.
Yes.
I just want to make sure. I have some other things here. You didn't do some of your community service, is that correct?
I did.
Why not? You gave me an
No, I
explanation.
did do some.
Just some of it, you're right, but you didn't do all of it. What happened?
It was when I was reporting, that's right, when COVID broke out. And I did community service in the office, and they told me to stop coming to the office. I wasn't allowed to go in, and
Because of COVID.
because of COVID. And from that point, I ended up, that's when I moved back to this area. Because I was in Tyler County, yeah, and then I moved back to this area, and all that time during COVID, they weren't doing community service, so that's why I didn't do it till I got back here. And that's when I didn't. COVID allowed me a little leeway, and that's when I started a relapse. And then that's when I did report.
And the final thing here, the last allegation here is the drug test. You weren't taking drug tests because you weren't checking
And I
in.
just didn't, yeah, I went in one time, and then I knew I was gonna bill it, and I just didn't go back.
Anything else you want to tell the judge about the situation?
Well, I did, when I was reading on this situation, when I was reinstated, I passed all my UAs during that time, this recently, I wasn't on drugs, and I was trying, I really was, and when I did 12 months in jail, and I got out, and I got a job 3 weeks afterwards. I was flipping cabinets at another cabinet shop, and just we're not having a car, and I don't know, I just wasn't able to do like I wanted to, but
Okay, pass it on to Sean.
I have no questions of this witness, Judge.
All right, go ahead.
That's all the witnesses we have.
Sure.
That's the only witness we have.
All right, what do y'all suggest? Defense?
Your Honor, I would suggest reinstate her, let her check in and see if she can do this. Because we're looking at 4 allegations here. Community service, I think COVID screwed her up and she got behind it. And then when she stopped checking in, everything went, off the rails at that point. But I think if we let her start checking in again, and showing she's clear, she's clean, she stays clean, she does her community service, then we're back on track. I think we just need to get her back on the track and move forward.
I did not try this case, but Ms. Grove did. And I am aware that the only reason why Ms. Massey was given probation was because she testified in that case. Your Honor may recall. You also may recall that the defendant that was on trial, I believe, received a 99-year sentence from the jury, which goes hand in hand with the court's memory about how horrific these details are. I say all that to me, that's more than fair enough warning that if you're granted probation in that scenario, you're on thin ice. So despite that, she goes on probation and continues making mistakes, we'll say. She appeared, we filed our first motion to revoke probation on March 9th, 21, filed an amended as to that on May 12th of 21. And then she stood before this court and did similar to what she's doing today. And against my recommendation, and I'm not chastising the court, you gave her another opportunity, Judge. You get,
Sounds like chastisement to me.
no, I'm like you, Judge. I like that you believe in people and you give them another opportunity. And that's the thing I want to highlight. Is she gave a similar pitch before, and you told her, you chastised her. You told her, I don't want to see you again. And you gave her 120 days and we put her back out on probation. She rewards that conduct by these statements that she just pled true to. This case in its severity and what all's involved here apparently is not enough to get her attention. It's not enough that she appeared before you, and I know you gave her the proper admonishments on the initial plea, and I know you gave her the proper admonishments again when you chose to allow her to work again. The only thing the state's asking for in this is justice for these circumstances. I feel that 10 years is warranted.
I think that my client had something she might say so in closing.
Would you like to add anything in? Go ahead.
Yes. I'd like to say that when everything started, it was a result of my mother passing, and then my life kind of rolled downhill. I've never been on drugs, and I've never been in trouble, and I've been a good mother. And I tried. I've been trying. I was tried last time. I really was trying. But I didn't have a way. Like, my truck got sold when I was in jail. I got out and I had nothing. I walked down the road and that's all I had was the clothes I had in my bag. I had nothing else. I own nothing in the world anymore, which is fine. I was starting up at ground level and I fumbled because I felt overwhelmed. I didn't think I was going to be able to complete what was being asked of me because I don't have adequate transportation, or I don't have a great support service. I mean, I don't have no family. I have nobody. I have my kids, and they need me. They need me to be there for them now. I haven't been, but they can't be there for me. I mean, I can rebuild. I know I can. I've done it so many times. I've overcome so much, so many things in my life. I know I can do this. I know I can. I want this. I do. I know I can do better. And I'll be going back because I was living, I'm sorry.
Tell me about, so you're telling me that drugs were never a problem?
Yes, they were.
Oh, I thought
No, I turned to drugs. No, I never said they were not. No,
Oh, okay.
I don't.
I thought that was really kind of the problem here.
No, I'm just saying I was doing good this last time I was out, that I wasn't on drugs. That's not why I'm back in jail. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not explain that. But
We're talking about July, August, September, October. I mean, a block of 4 months. You've really kind of fallen off the radar screen for us.
Let's see if I can.
But when you're not reporting, you're not supervised. We don't know. All it is your word. We really don't know what you're doing. We can't verify it, especially with the drug situation.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, this is.
Go ahead.
Is there another program for drug rehabilitation other than JCDI? That is on it?
Yeah.
I would.
We've got a real strong program, but it's up to the probation office. They're the ones that really make the decisions where they feel like it's necessary and whether it's
Also,
warranted.
I'd like to say though,
Safe P is something.
whenever when I get out, whenever I go home this time, I will have a vehicle like accessible to me, so it won't be an issue like it was before. Like I didn't have or wheels.
At the probation office.
The program that she's referring to, Your Honor, is JCDI.
Hmm.
And in JCDI, we offer transportation. And we are,
Gosh, you
I
keep
apologize, I'm
interrupting.
sorry.
I mean, we got in trouble when you were in kindergarten for that. We learned early in life.
Forget what I'm gonna say, I'm sorry.
You get a chance to be heard. Now she's the one talking. Please don't interrupt. Thank you.
we do offer transportation. Ms. Massey was explained that by Wesley Tucker, who was gonna be her probation officer on the JCDI program. When I spoke to Ms. Massey last, she was adamant that she did not feel that she would be able to comply with the JCDI program. She said she was working and she just could not meet the requirements. So
What requirements?
reporting to counselors, reporting to JCDI
Because
court,
she was working.
meeting your UAs. On the color code, whenever your color comes up, you have to go in and do a drug.
What's different now?
Well, now, I mean, I don't have a job right offhand, but I will have access to a vehicle, someone to bring me where I need to be. I don't have to look for, I couldn't even, I was having a hard time finding rides to work and back home
And where do you live right now?
in, a Carriage Park apartment
Over here.
in Nederland, sorry.
Oh,
That's where the letter returned that we sent to them.
how long have you been living there?
I lived there the whole time. Apartment 602.
According to jail records, they attempted to serve the warrant at that location and folks there says she hasn't lived there.
When was it? Oh, I did, that's why, okay. That's why, I did leave there. I did leave there, I wasn't living there. That's right. And that's why I didn't have a vehicle. Because I didn't, because, that's why,
Well, this just happened last year,
yes, sir.
right?
Yes, it was my boyfriend's mother's house. And I separated from him when I left, and that's why I lost my wheels and I was living with a friend of mine.
Apparently, Your Honor, I
I'm
apologize.
sorry.
Apparently, Your Honor, when she was arrested on the motion to revoke probation, she was additionally charged with a state jail possession of controlled substance and a failure to ID. That was not on my radar because we have not actually received that paperwork, but the probation officer
What was
was.
the allegation of the controlled substance? Just the allegation.
I know you're asking me what type, Judge. Give me 1 second. Oh, heroin,
I've never
as
done
well
heroin.
as methamphetamine residue.
Never done heroin.
Well, that it's not charged. And is there a scientific test that's been done on it, or
No, Your Honor.
just presume?
This is from,
Well, we're not gonna hold that against you because you're presumed innocent. I wrote the article.
yes, sir.
That's on that, but I am disappointed, just even if just being back here, if you just spit on the sidewalk, you just something minor like that for the seriousness. And this crime is, there can't be a more valuable form of life or any or material good that you could have been charged with for this offense of tampering with physical evidence than a human body. I mean, that's about that's of all the evidentiary items in the world we could think of, a body, a human body. Tampering with that in an investigation is, in the way this happened, is about the most disgusting, serious violation of such a crime. This was just a sordid, despicable set of circumstances here. I was just hoping that I'd never get to see you again here on a revocation.
I can do better. You can see me doing.
I know that's the disappointment, is that you probably can do
I
that.
can't. I know I can't.
Well, I don't think, I believe, just I can surmise that drugs are still haunting you.
That's right. 'cause
What
there's
about,
so-
what about putting her in safety? She needs something that's
If she's willing to do that, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Because with the JCDI
I mean, that's some help for you,
she did not want to.
But- but it's an inpatient. So it's not like you're working now, like you said, and this is, you just asked me for some help and say, P,
I was just asking if there was another.
and say P has been very productive and helpful. It has a good track record. So are you willing to give Safe P a shot, a full good effort or not? It's your call.
Could I please, I would like to ask if I could please try the JCDI and give it a good effort again.
I just asked you a question on substance abuse felony punishment facility. It's helpful. It's effective. What would you possibly be afraid of? You're not employed. You got an opportunity to spend the next few months of your life helping yourself. But you would have to put a full faith effort. That's do you want to do that or not? It's your call. Because that's your option with me.
Speak to her a little bit more.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chat with her a little bit so she
Yeah.
understands the options.
Yes. It's just a very important decision here
Yes.
that you're about to have to make. But I'm giving you a lifeline. And I'm urging you to consider it because the people I hear back, I get letters from the people in safety. They send me letters and all those letters are very positive about how it's helped them. But free will is still here. You can make a choice what direction you want your life to head in. It's your life. I'm just giving you an opportunity of a path.
Will you admit?
Huh? Back here to Miss Massey. With the file. All right, I think when we left off here, there was this motion to revoke probation that was pending. The court has found or is going to find true these allegations 1, 2, 3, and 4 that the defendant has pleaded true to, and now it becomes an issue of what's going to happen here. I asked you to talk with the defendant about getting help at substance abuse felony punishment facility, which is a good program that I have come to know, not only by what I know, but the feedback by the direct letters sent to me of the defendants who overwhelmingly expressed to me how successful and better they feel about themselves from the time that they spent, that it's all quality time. I know the way they handle things in the facility, and people do quite well. Not everybody is successful, but it's overwhelming to where I am very supportive of that program. Nonetheless, free will is what it is, and every defendant gets an opportunity. We're not going to, those are valuable slots for people who want to help themselves. And if a defendant elects not to take that opportunity, it is going to be awarded to someone else who wants to put forth a full effort. So, Ms. Massey, you've had an opportunity to discuss this with Mr. West and think about it, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, what do you want to do?
She says no to safety, Your Honor, and we're just gonna go to the court and let the court determine whatever punishment the court determines is best.
All right, then, anybody want to add anything else?
At this point, Your Honor, I would request, I know it's up to 10 years, but I would request some leniency on this case, considering the factors that you've already heard. If you could, somewhere less than the 10, Your Honor. I'm sure Mr. Ham is going to request 10. And,
He's already done.
oh, I know. I absolutely understand. You know, I talked about it too, so we know, but we would request some kind of mercy as a number less than 10, Your Honor.
Anything else by anybody? How about you, ma'am? Would you like to add anything to what you told me already, Ms. Masson?
as far as myself, I mean, I know that I'm a great asset to the community. I can help and do good things. I know I can. It's in me. Yes, sir. And I don't want to disappoint you. Like I really,
I think
do
it's, I believe it is. I think you are capable,
I know I am.
but
I don't-
you've got to
I got
put it
I
into,
understand.
implement it into actual,
I've grown since before. I'm further, you know what I mean? I've
In a
grown
good way?
mentally, emotionally, and
In a good
spiritually,
way?
in a great way.
Good.
And I have nowhere to go but up from here.
Okay.
Feel strong now. I was weak. I was mourning and I had a lot of stuff going.
Ms. Jones, anything you would like to add on behalf of the probation office on this case?
Your Honor, I feel that Ms. Massey has to realize that she cannot make decisions that will benefit her from herself. She has to take directions from other people who see what she cannot see. And this is the second motion to revoke probation. And it's the same behaviors that's attributed to her being in custody now, and she wants to do probation on her own terms, and that won't be successful. She could be a productive citizen, but she has to be treated for her substance abuse, and she's not willing to do that.
Anything else? All right, if nothing further, I'm going to make the following findings: that there is sufficient evidence supporting this motion to revoke probation, to grant it by a preponderance of the evidence or greater. As allegations 1, 2, 3, and 4 have been proven true by a preponderance of the evidence or greater, and this motion to revoke probation is granted. You have already been found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this offense, placed on probation, and that was not successful. Therefore, your punishment is assessed at 5 years in prison in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. You'll be given credit for time you have served. That's not to say that the state's, Mr. Hand's recommendation is not a good idea and fair under these circumstances. The evidence that was tampered with is the most precious item on this planet, one of God's creatures. And this whole fiasco was a pathetic, terrible, sordid, evil set of circumstances. In your case, as I've reviewed again and reflected, there's nothing to show that you did shoot the body. There is nothing that shows that you harmed the victim while alive, but you did take an active part in trying to destroy the evidence, and the incineration of a human body is about as low and unhumane method of dealing with a fellow human being, and thus punishment should be serious. And this court feels like under these circumstances, this is the appropriate method under this set of circumstances. Anything else? That is all. Thank you. Mr. West, Desmond Williams, did you have that one still left to do?
Yes, Your Honor. We're going to have to reset this one, Your Honor. There's another case coming.